The government has announced plans for a £1.5 billion upgrade to the congested A14 between Cambridge and Huntingdon. Sections of road will be widened and new bypasses built to help prevent traffic jams and accidents. But residents living along the road network fear the next 5 years of construction could make lives a misery. Adam Page reports.
85,000 motorists travel along the A14 between Cambridge and Huntingdon every day, and it's often clogged up with jams and accidents. There have been attempts to make upgrades along the stretch of road since the 1990s, with the latest scheme being cancelled in 2010. But now the government said it'll invest up to £1.5 billion to make upgrades along this 21-mile stretch of road.
Well, the A14, as you will know, has been stop-start on many occasions, and it's been in the offing for some 30 years. So I'm very pleased that we now got to a project where we could approve the National Planning Statement, National Planning Strategy. That has now moved forward. I mean, the money's there, the planning has been done, the process has been followed. We will follow the process, and it is on schedule to be started later this year. There is a period now between a short period for people if they want to object, but I very much hope that we can see this project, which is desperately needed in the area, move forward.
Villagers in Madingley are amongst those voicing their concerns, with their parish council chairman saying they'll speak to local councillors, politicians and Highways England to make sure they aren't overwhelmed by construction work.
We're all delighted that the scheme has now been approved and the Minister has decided to proceed with the scheme. What we are concerned about in this village is we're going to have a works compound less than a mile from the village, and while there are suggestions and assertions from the Minister that traffic will not come through the village, we're very far from convinced that that will be the case.
Because what have they said to you already?
They haven't said anything to us at all. In fact, my major concern is at a public meeting at Girton College in February, when the subject was first raised with the parish council, we were not told there would be any effort to keep the construction traffic out of the village.
We obviously are very conscious of the likes of Madingley and the residents about construction traffic and how that goes forward. Cambridge County Council will work very closely with Highways England to ensure that we help them to actually deal with those traffic issues the best we can, and obviously mitigate any impact on local communities.
Because who have you heard from so far who want to either work with you or have complained?
There's quite a few people along the corridor. If you look at the northern section around the A1, around Alconbury and Brampton area, and also around Huntingdon area, and also around the Girton area. So there are lots of communities all up and down that thing, which have some issues for some of them, some issues are the same for all of them, and there are different issues for different communities.
As part of the upgrades, the A14 between Swavesey and Milton will be widened, with the same solution being applied to the A1 between Brampton and Alconbury. There'll also be a major new bypass between Swavesey and Brampton, and improvements will be made to the junctions at Bar Hill, Swavesey, Girton, Histon and Milton.
Well, I think it's critical. It's critical for a number of reasons. Partly because you have to remember that this road carries most of the freight coming in from Felixstowe going anywhere else in the country. So it's a very important strategic freight route. It's also really important for bringing people to and from Cambridge and the surrounding area. So it serves both the sort of national and indeed international purpose as well as a local purpose. And so there's an economic role is really critical. But I think one of the other reasons this is so important is the safety issues. There are so many accidents on this road, those are causing injuries and death to people, and finding a safer way of moving people around is really important. And I think the A14 is a critical part of that, along with improvements to rail transport and to public transport and to cycling.
Highways England hope work will begin at the end of the year so that it can be completed by 2020. They say they'll try to keep traffic moving while works are done by scheduling construction to happen at weekends and overnight. Adam Page, Cambridge TV News.
And as well as announcing the A14 upgrade, Patrick Mcloughlin also visited the city's newest railway station, which is still under construction. Cambridge North should have been open in December of last year. but has been blighted by 3 delays. It's now expected to be completed by this time next year. The station will link the centre of Cambridge to the Science Park and surrounding areas. Our reporter Jack Mcloughlin went along to speak to the Cabinet Minister.
Well, basically I'm in Cambridgeshire and the surrounding areas to look at the infrastructure that is being planned, and also to see some of the improvements and the work that is ongoing on this new station just behind me.
And so how important is this station to Cambridge and the wider region?
Well, I think it gives another connection into Cambridge. I think it's very important for the Science Park. It's very important when people are looking where they invest in businesses to make sure there's good transport links, both for people using them but also attracting business into the area as well.
Now, clearly it's been a difficult few years for this station with a number of delays. How confident are you that this is going to be back on time and this will be the final finishing time for the project?
Well, I think by the fact that you can see it over my shoulder, it's there, it's being built, it's on schedule now, it will be being operated by, I hope, May of next year. But of course there's work to be done on it, but I don't think anybody can doubt that that work is now taking place.
And what difference do you think it will make to Cambridge and the region?
Well, I think it eases some of the congestion, it takes some of the traffic away from the Cambridge station, and it gives people another avenue. So I think it does everything about improving the transport infrastructure for the whole of the area, and that's very important. When we're looking at transport infrastructure, we're not just talking about roads, we're talking about rail as well. And that's why I'm very proud as a government we're investing over £60 billion during this Parliament on transport infrastructure throughout the whole of the United Kingdom.
I think we've had to get it right, and we know there were some issues with the original planning application, but actually we wanted to get the station right. We wanted to build it so that it's not only good for today but it's future proof as well. So we really put some time in to get the application right, to get the build right. It will open in May of next year when the timetable changes. It will be served by trains, both the new East Anglia franchise and by GTR. So I understand frustration, but it was necessary to get it right and make sure it's fit for purpose. So we expect the station to be used by about 3,000 people a day from the start, and I think that will grow quite quickly. We have car parking for 450 people, 1,000 spaces for bicycles rising to 2,000, so it's hugely accessible. The guided busway will come here, so I think we expect people to change, particularly people from the north of Cambridge, to use this station for trains to London rather than travel through Cambridge to get to that station. Obviously it opens up the whole of the North Science Park to people coming from the south and north for journeys into Cambridge. So I think we see lots of benefits to this station, and I think it will grow very quickly, and usage will really start to grow once it's open.
The death of a Cambridge educator